All right. Sorry. I was getting ready to hit the go live button, and Harper came walking in and said she was hungry, so I had to make sure that she had a snack. All right. Can you all hear me well? How's the sound? Is it okay? It's registering on my end. I just don't know. I don't use this microphone for this a lot. Cool. So how's everybody doing? I know that a lot of you are limited on your hours. You're not working. Some of you are working like normal. It just kind of depends. So let me just tell you kind of what happened. I'm not going to be back at work probably for some time. There is a possibility that they're going to set me up for remote broadcast maybe tomorrow. That all depends. I woke up, I should say I went to bed Monday early morning, about 2 o'clock, scratchy throat, woke up the next morning, really sore throat. One of the symptoms of COVID-19 is a sore throat. So contacted my doctor, and immediately she said, quarantine yourself or isolate, really. I'm not in quarantine, I'm in isolation. So that's what I did. My symptoms are not consistent with COVID-19, all right? But there's some overlapping symptoms, and since it can take 2 weeks for the virus to fully manifest, we're being cautious, and we're isolating me for 2 weeks, which is why I'm not at work. Now, we had a plan of being able to do remote broadcasting and things of that nature. The problem is that the company didn't set this up before anybody got sick, so then the fear became me getting somebody sick as they brought the equipment out, that sort of thing. We think that we may have a solution for tomorrow. I should know more about that today or tomorrow on whether or not that's going to work. But at this point in time, I'm not going back to the studio for a total of 2 weeks, so that would start from that Monday. That's kind of where I'm at. This is the dungeon, without a doubt. I have to turn that light right there off. Otherwise, it's going to blind everybody. I got my 3D printing filament back there and all of that stuff. So this is the total unfinished studio space. I'm right next to the water heater and then the furnace. so if I do any recording, you may get a hum or something of that nature. But we think that we might be able to go ahead and do this broadcasting thing. And in fact, that would actually set me up to be able to do remote broadcasting and fill-in work all across the country. So could be a pretty cool setup. But really, I just kind of wanted to let you all know what was going on. My family's not sick. I feel fine. The sore throat went away yesterday, so I had it for 1 day. It's a little scratchy. I have a little cough, but it's not a dry cough. I'm coughing up some mucus. I know that's gross, but it's important to tell you all of that. I don't have a fever. The highest I got was like 99.1 yesterday. I'm hovering around 97.8. That's kind of where I've been at. So really nothing is crazy or anything like that. I'm all right. The family's okay. It's just that we're taking precautions. My doctor gets the morning update from me every single day, and that's about it. So, but if you're asking if I am quarantined or isolated, the answer is yes, I am. So, all right. Any questions, any comments? I mean, this really isn't my normal format. I don't have to worry about the radio or anything. So I've got like a weird sort of setup happening here, but I may have to get used to this to do more, one, live streaming, and then two, if I'm going to do any radio broadcasts or anything like that from here. If I do a radio broadcast, I won't be able to live stream it because I won't be able to get you the audio from the radio station. So if I play audio or if we have callers or something like that, it's not going to work. Suck it up. Yeah, I hear you. I'm fine. I mean, I'm okay. They're still a little worried about sending somebody out here just in case. My doctor, again, reasonably confident that it's not COVID-19, but because there's a couple of overlapping symptoms and it could take 2 weeks, we figured we would just go ahead and be cautious. All right, hold on just a second. Hey, Bree. Hey, Bree. Can you hear me? Okay, remember that whole please don't yell, I'm going to be talking to people thing? Thank you. I love her dearly, but she's incapable of being quiet. All right. No, we don't have a big enough house for me to be isolated away from them, Laura. So the first day, I stayed in the basement and everybody stayed away from me. That was pretty much the rule. We have one bathroom. It's a 2-bedroom place. I sleep in the basement at night. When the kids are down in the basement, there's, a good 20 or 30 feet between us for the most part. So we're isolating or keeping distance as much as possible, but it's really not full isolation. The kids are obvious. Well, I mean, Harper doesn't go to school. Bree's out of school. She starts her e-learning tomorrow. My wife had to do some things yesterday, pick up supplies and things like that, but nobody else is showing any symptoms or anything of that nature. So, and like I said, it really doesn't seem like I actually get like a seasonal chest cold. So it's something that I usually get. This feels exactly like that, only milder. So usually I get pretty bad infection in my chest. I'm not dealing with that right now at all. So everything's fine. We got plenty of sanitizer, toilet paper, all that stuff. The sea virus, sure. Why not? Yeah, dad life, tell me about it. She's playing Minecraft and she's fighting the Ender Dragon. And so she's been battling the Ender Dragon all day. For those of you who don't know, that's like the end of the game. And she keeps losing. So she's getting frustrated, and I can tell, but she's working really hard at it. You have the ginger ale, right? We actually do have ginger ale. We picked up plenty of supplies to get drunk if we needed to. So I actually saw a poll. I don't know, maybe it was Buck Sexton who did it. So there was a poll that said if you could pick like one thing right now, if you're going to be isolated, pick one thing. And it was like toilet paper, eggs, meat, and then beer or alcohol. And the number one answer was meat, which shows you that people are going to die because meat's the wrong answer. And then the number two answer was alcohol, and then which people are being funny. And the number three answer was eggs, which should have been number one, and then toilet paper was on the bottom of that. So, but people don't know how to survive, which is why we're watching everybody in these urban areas just absolutely freak out and have a conniption fit. All right, so let's see. I'm probably gonna miss some of your comments, so I'm gonna try my best to do it. So if I miss it, just repeat it. Let's see. Yeah, it's exactly, if the whole house doesn't isolate, then we're limiting our contact with the outside world as best as we can. And I'm staying away from Shanna as much as possible because she's the one that would have to go out and get supplies if need be. But we also get a lot of things delivered, and we're kind of having them leave it on the doorstep. Let's see. The natty ice thing, of course, Frank. Sarah sent me a message. Oh, okay. I didn't see it. I will go look. I haven't been real active. I've been posting links and stuff, but I haven't been on social media. So usually I'm just surfing the web, hit share, and send it to Hootsuite, which posts to Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, Rhonda. Yep, I'm totally fine. Buy more ammo. That's always a good mantra to have right now. By the way, I've got a story about that. Hold on a second, because that, I think, is absolutely hysterical, this ammo stuff. I ran into this in the Gateway Pundit. Panicked leftists surprised they can't just purchase a gun online like they were told. How many times have we had some crazy left-wing journalists go to do an article on how easy it is to buy a gun, only to not be able to buy a gun, and just kind of proving their whole point wrong? So let's see. Barack Obama spoke to mourners at Dallas in July 2016 after Black Lives Matter activists gunned down several police officers. Obama told the audience it is easier for a teenager to buy a Glock than it is to get hands on a computer or even a book, which of course is obscenely stupid, especially since we give out computers to kids now. My daughter's issued an iPad. Let's see. Omaha Outdoors reported. First came the panic buying of hand sanitizer, then people panic bought toilet paper. Now, food shelves are emptying and firearm and ammunition sales are through the roof. The COVID-19 outbreak might be bad for the stock market, but it's certainly been a boon for very specific sectors of the economy. The gun industry used to such boom-bust cycles, knows how to respond, but other sectors might not be so acclimated. Here at Omaha Outdoors, we've been inundated with inquiries from out-of-state folks, many from California, asking if we can ship them a gun directly. The answer is, of course, no. Despite what politicians and many in popular media claim, you can't buy a gun online and have it shipped to your house. I know, there goes the narrative, right? There's a bunch of people that are learning about homeschooling and a bunch of people that are learning about basic prepping skills and things of that nature, and also a bunch of people learning about firearms right now that probably had no idea what this is all about because they believe the lies. Well, you could if you were a federally licensed firearm dealer or federally licensed curio or relic collector, and your home was your place of business. Other than that, no, you can't buy a gun online and have it shipped, especially across state lines, to your home. What you'll need to do to buy a gun from us is order it on our online store and select an FFL, federally licensed firearm dealer, during the online checkout process. We ship the gun to that dealer near you. And again, it'll be interesting to see if they're open, presuming the firearm and its accessories are legal in your area, and you visit the dealer to fill out the required ATF form 4473, undergo the federal and any applicable state background checks. Some states might require a waiting period, sure to be a sore point at a time when people feel the need for a gun to protect themselves. Now, only then can you take your new firearm home. So it's it's kind of interesting that you've got this this outdoor supply place running around and issuing articles and PSAs and things like that, telling people, especially in California, no, you can't buy from us and have us ship you a gun, you idiot. That's not how it works. But you've been lied to for all of these years. Let's see. If anybody wants to fill Al in, that's cool. Or, I mean, I can. That's fine. Thank you, Roland. Appreciate it. Right now, we're okay. We don't really have any need for anything. I do have some good strong liquor in the house. I see a bunch of people making that recommendation. But, yeah, I'm doing fine. Let's see. Speedy. Thank you, Speed. I might be sick with Corona. There you go. Oh, God. Apparently, I just received 100 messages today with Restream. There's a lot of you watch right now. I got like 71 people watching. Cool. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. So here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. I'm probably going to do a quarantine corner almost every day. And I'm just going to do a quick little live stream show, which I've been wanting to do more on YouTube anyway, and do that and kind of bring you up to date on some of the stories that are out there, like the one that I just did. And then if things work, oh, there goes my weird alert box that gets all jacked on me. If I'm able to broadcast from home with this software, then we'll be doing the normal radio show as well, but I'll be doing this in addition to that. Thank you for the sub chat. Appreciate that. That's awesome. I got 82 people watching right now, so that's good. Geez, all I got to do is not work for a couple of days and then let everybody know that I'm in isolation because I may or may not have COVID-19, although we don't think that I have it, okay? And I need to stress that. We don't think that I have it. My symptoms are not correct, but there's some overlapping symptoms, and that's the fear for those of you just joining us. So I figured I would just do, yeah, exactly, Speed. Casey's Quarantine Corner every day. Quick little online show, do an update, kind of like what Tim Pool and others do, and just kind of give you a little update on that stuff. Short little spurts, maybe half hour or something like that, and. If I do the normal radio show in addition to that, great. If I'm not able to, I'll be off for a couple of weeks, and at least you'll be able to check in with me on a regular basis. For those of you who are new, please hit the like button, hit subscribe. If you're on Twitch, if you subscribe, we do that for giveaways. I do have some novelty toilet paper to give away, so I'll set up a contest for that at some point this week, and we'll be able to do it. Hold on just a second. Hey, Bree. Bree! Remember that whole conversation that we had, and then we just had another conversation about you being loud? Can you tone it down just a little bit? Thank you. No joke. She has been quiet all day, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. Thank you, Tracy, for the cheers. I appreciate that. So again, if you have Amazon Prime, you can actually sub on Twitch for free. So if you're not watching on Twitch, it's at Casey the host on twitch.tv, and you can use Twitch Prime to sub to one channel for free, and that just helps me do giveaways and things like that. I know you guys don't hear Bree, but it's very distracting for me having her come through that wall. so she's very loud, and it comes this way, and the microphone doesn't pick up that direction, thank God. But it is distracting when I'm trying to talk to you, and I've got... She's very excited about something. So, let's see. Oh, Linda, how are you? Give my best to the family and Tim. Patriot Hour giving an update. Check over at his channel as well. I don't know if she's killed the dragon yet. I don't know. Fighting it all day. So we'll see if she was able to do it a little bit later. Let's see. All right. She might have won. I don't know. She might have won, or she could be throwing things across the, across the room just because she's upset. Not really sure. Let's see. I also wanted to cover something else too, because this has been frustrating. I did cover it on the show before I got quarantined, isolated, whatever. But this, so there's been hashtags that are trending on social media lately, and I've noticed that a lot of them are spreading lies and hoaxes from leftists who just obviously hate Trump. I can't stress this enough. This isn't a time to be attacking anybody for political reasons. I know that there's an election upcoming, and that's the whole narrative, and now it looks like Biden, again, had a really good night last night, so Bernie is probably going to be out of this thing. But, you got the Rahm Emanuel logic of never let a crisis go to waste. But at this point in time, where we're dealing with a national crisis, it literally does no good. You got the media telling you false stories. You've got people out there spreading this on social media. One of them is that Trump got rid of this pandemic team in the White House. Okay, it's not true. It's not how that happened. The other lie that's out there is that Trump refused World Health Organization test kits. He did not. That's not how any of this happened or developed. But I think my 3-year-old was trying to come in. But people are still spreading those out there. And then you've got these two idiots. One is that moron that's running for Congress somewhere. I don't know. Nobody knows who his name is, but he's always he's always saying something that gets him in trouble. And then you have a former Obama official talking about charging Trump with murder and all of this stuff because of the virus. Obviously, all of that is feral derangement. None of that does any good. And it scares people, which I think is the intent of what we're dealing with right now. And shutting down the economy and things like that. Talking about giving people $1,000 checks and all of that. All of this stuff is, it's not going to be positive in the end. It's not. So we're going to continue to run into problems with it. But finally, I'm getting ready to cough, by the way. So if you want to cover your mouths so I don't infect you, what are you doing? 3-year-old keeps sneaking in. So anyway, last week, liberals hailed PBS correspondent Yamiche Al-Sindor for arguing with President Trump in the Rose Garden press conference that he had disbanded the National Security Council Office for Pandemics, and the government lost valuable time on the coronavirus battle because of it. Now again, that automatically is dispelled by the fact that Trump acted on this while Democrats were still trying to impeach him. Okay? And I know it seems like it's been ages ago, but the impeachment trial was only weeks ago, and the Trump administration had already acted on coronavirus during the impeachment process, and Democrats accused him of xenophobia and racism because of it. Okay? So, if we lost valuable time, then how is it that the Trump administration responded to this before any Democrats thought it was a real threat? Okay? So, obviously, we didn't lose any time. There were mistakes made by the CDC, no doubt about that. Bureaucrats flying infected people on airplanes after the president told them not to. Those were all big problems, okay? On Monday, the Washington Post published an op-ed from Tim Morrison, a National Security Council official who briefly became a much-used name during the impeachment hearings. It was titled, "No, the White House didn't dissolve its pandemic response office. I was there." Now, the NSC had been expanded beyond its role under the Obama administration. Now, obviously, the Obama administration will argue that they needed to do that to adapt to various things, one of them being the H1N1 situation where they expanded the pandemic team. The Trump administration has often maintained that they don't want redundancy, and they want to basically take all of these redundant operations and put them in one area. So you don't have multiple bureaucracies doing the same thing when you should be doing it in one spot. So this is what the guy wrote. It has been alleged by multiple officials in the Obama administration, including the Washington Post, that the president and his then National Security Advisor, John Bolton, dissolved the office at the White House in charge of pandemic preparedness. Because I led the very directorate as assigned to that mission, I have a thing in my way that I'm trying to get around reading. Let me just move this over so it makes it a little bit easier. Because I led the very directorate assigned that mission, the Counterproliferation and Biodefense Office, for a year and then handed off to another official who still holds the post, I know the charge is specious. Basically saying, I led what they're saying was disbanded, and when I left, I handed over the leadership reins to somebody else who's still there doing it. Hi, honey.
Hi.
How you doing? You want to say hi?
Yes.
Go look right here.
I can't.
You can't see? Here, come here.
It's in my eye.
Come here, baby.
Right
There. Look at that. See, that's where all the people are, right there.
now.
How you doing?
Whoa, that's so cool.
My hands are cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been touching my soda. All right. You don't want to spend too much time on my lap, okay? All right, kiddo. All right. Be good.
Okay, be good.
Okay. Huh? I'll get you your Play-Doh. Give me like 10 minutes, okay? She wants to play with Play-Doh. When I joined the National Security Council staff in 2018, I inherited a strong and skilled staff in the Counterproliferation and Biodefense Directorate. The team of national experts together drafted the National Biodefense Strategy of 2018 and an accompanying National Security Presidential Memorandum to implement it, an executive order to modernize influenza vaccines, and coordinated the United States response to the Ebola epidemic in Congo, which was ultimately defeated in 2020. It is true that the Trump administration has seen fit to shrink the NSC staff, but the bloat that occurred under the previous administration clearly needed a correction. Defense Secretary Robert Gates, congressional oversight committees, and members of the Obama administration itself all agreed that the NSC was too large and too operationally focused, a departure from its traditional role coordinating the executive branch activity. As the Post reported in 2015, from the Clinton administration to the Obama administration's second term, the NSC's staff had quadrupled in size, nearly 400 people. Okay, that is why Trump began streamlining the NSC staff in 2017. One such move at the NSC was to create the Counterproliferation and Biodefense Directorate, which was the result of consolidating 3 directorates into one, giving the obvious overlap between arms control and non-proliferation, weapons of mass destruction, terrorism, and global health and biodefense. It is this reorganization that critics have misconstrued or intentionally misrepresented. And they're intentionally misrepresenting it. They're not misconstruing it, because I think the entire time that I have been covering the Trump administration, we have had to fact check this and correct it. But it continues to be a myth that is constantly put out there by people who have, again, ill intention, because this is all about partisanship instead of actually saving people's lives and protecting people, making sure the economy doesn't collapse and that sort of thing. And then you have the amoebas out there on Twitter who don't know any better, who just hate the president, and they use hashtags and they spread this filth. So it didn't happen. They were not taken care of. There was a reorganization. They merged 3 different units into one unit. That unit is still at the White House, and the notion otherwise is completely false, fake news. So it continues to be an issue. And also, the World Health Organization never offered the United States any of the tests. Okay? That never happened. The United States has always produced its own tests. And the reason that we produce our own tests is because the World Health Organization has a nasty habit of not producing accurate tests. We tend to produce better ones. Now, the CDC screwed up And they screwed up in a way that they believed was an impossibility. Okay, so if you look at the ingredient that was used in that first batch of tests that failed, it should not have happened with the way that the system is set up. So they were completely caught off guard. They had to reissue those tests. Those new tests worked just fine. But it's a tradition that the United States create its own tests because our tests tend to be more accurate and better than the World Health Organization. But the World Health Organization never offered us any of those tests. They did make a recommendation internationally that there were tests that they thought were functional, but you still had to go out and acquire those tests. So it's not like the World Health Organization had a bunch of tests and said, here, United States, take these tests. And we said, nah, we're good. That never happened. It is a complete lie when anybody says that. But that's what people have been going out there and saying. And as a result, you got a bunch of people who think that the Trump administration is now getting people sick and dead. And none of that is the case. All right, to the chat. But we got over 70 people watching, only 34 thumbs. You got to hit that like button, people, please. Let's see. Thank you, Clever. Appreciate that. COVID 8.5, is that what it is? Is that what we're calling it? COVID 8.5? Yeah, I'm in big trouble. Going back up to what Tracy was saying about me being well-armed to keep guys away from my girls. I'm in big trouble, man. Both of my kids objectively are cute as hell. And they both have very big personalities. Although I think that Harper might abuse her boyfriends in the future. That's a possibility. Not that abuse is a laughing matter in any way, shape, or form. Have you guys seen the viral video of that woman who is going berserk on her boyfriend? And she's hitting him in the head, throwing water in his face. They're sitting down in an outdoor like eating area. And then they finally bring the tacos and she eats the tacos and she's all loving on him and everything. That's Harper. Like, I'm convinced that is going to be Harper in the future. That's it, William. You shoot the first one and the word will get out. Yeah, we'll go over the safe words and all that stuff. We already have one for the family, but... Yeah, I saw the foreclosure thing a little bit earlier on Discord. And... yeah, it's, I posted this too on Twitter. I'm a little disgusted by the way that banks in particular are operating right now. And one of my banks sent a message out, and it was like a text message too. They sent this message out and they said, hey, if you can't pay the bills that you owe us, we'll give you a loan so you can go ahead and pay us. So you're increasing people's debt and giving them a new bill so they could pay a bill that they already owe you instead of just deferring payments or doing nothing, which would be better, to be perfectly honest with you. So it is, it's pretty irritating watching that. Cable company basically did new customer sign-up bonuses as coronavirus relief. That's not coronavirus relief, and it doesn't help existing customers, although they did say they're going to boost some speeds for people. Yay. But I'm getting a little sick and tired of people trying to say it's coronavirus relief, but really it's marketing. How long until Bernie gives up? Soon. Very, very soon. Sounds like something Chemical Bank would do. It wasn't Chemical Bank, but it's one of the banks that I have issues with on a regular basis. So all of the places that I have bills with, I have one bank that doesn't count the payment that I make right away. They only count the payment when they have the money actually deposited in their account. And they're the only ones that I know of that do that. Everybody else that I do business with, they count the payment because it's processed, it's approved. They count the payment the moment it's made. This is the only bank that doesn't do that. Drives me bonkers. Oh, that's cool. Bumped everybody up to 100. That'll be nice. Yeah, girls watched Frozen 2 on Disney Plus the other day. Cool. So, what else do we got? Any questions? Anything I can answer for anybody? If you want to know what I'm drinking a Monster at this point. Hi.
Can you come upstairs?
Yes, give me just a few more minutes, okay?
Okay.
I promise. You got it. I know you don't understand time yet, but it's not been 10 minutes yet. Huh? You want to play outside? I think it's too wet for that, but we'll look, okay? Okay, I'll be up in a minute. 3-year-old's bored. I have a green screen, so I got that. It goes onto the chair. The problem is I've got a bunch of pipes right here, and it hits the green screen. So I've got to change out my chair to get this to work properly, and then it can all work. I've been testing with some stuff. How long am I stuck in the basement? Again, I'm basically under a 2-week isolation. Is kind of where I'm at. One of your suppliers fought a decision to stay open? That's crazy. I just cut a spot for Impress Jewelry Creations. They're staying open. Yeah, rigging it to hang on the pipes may work, but I don't know. It's like there's I don't know. I know that you can't see it. It doesn't really quite work. I'd have to go into the beams and stuff. I don't know. It's huge. So, cut the pipes. Yeah, exactly. You expect daily streams. Well, Casey's quarantine corner is probably going to happen, so. But I did play with the green screen last weekend, and I think I've got something figured out, so. Yes. She is just guilting me big time. Seems like a no-win situation with the bailout. All right, so let me explain the $1,000 check thing. Yeah, you'll be taxed on it, but there's a couple of things to consider. One, if it's just a one-time check, it's probably not going to affect you at all, okay? If it's a monthly check, it could, but most people with the standard deduction will be deducting that $1,000 anyway, all right? So you really won't notice any kind of payback to the government on that. The other thing is that you could potentially get bumped into another tax bracket, but the overwhelming majority of people won't. So if it just happens one time, it really shouldn't have a big negative impact on anybody. If it happens on a monthly basis for a few months, you could start seeing a lot of that stuff happen. Thank you, Angry. I appreciate that, but I feel okay. The way that I feel now would not keep me home in any other scenario. Okay, the only reason I'm doing it is because my doctor is telling me to. That's it. I have to look at that because I saw. I don't know what Trump's plan is. I saw that Tulsi Gabbard wanted to give it to everybody, so that would be like we would get $4,000. Okay. Mitt Romney had a suggestion. I don't know if his was household, and I'm not exactly sure what the Trump plan is. I have to read up on it. What podcasts am I listening to? I haven't been listening to anything, actually. Generally speaking, the podcasts that I listen to are Get Off My Lawn with Gavin McInnes. He does one free weekly one every single week. And then, of course, all of his other stuff is paid for at censored.tv. I listen to the Daily Caller with Derek Hunter, like that. Listen to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Occasionally, I'll listen to Chris Jericho. But that's kind of it as far as my active podcast rotation. I have listened to Candace Owens recently, but only because there's specific people that she's interviewing. So I don't really listen to a ton of podcasts right now. Just most of the podcast listening was to and from work. So right now I'm not doing that, so I'm not really listening to much. And then, Timcast with Tim Pool, I'll listen to his stuff. I'll usually go through phases where I listen to it and then phases where I don't. Yeah, closing liquor stores is stupid. I mean, you talk about having an entire store full of disinfectant. I mean, but hey, let's get rid of that. Okay, whatever you say. But, Papa vodka would be a godsend to a lot of people right now. I think Craig might be new. No, I'm not from Oklahoma. Yes. Now, William, the last time that they did that, though, there wasn't the standard deduction that we have now. So my assumption is, I'm obviously not an accountant, but my assumption is that your standard deduction would absorb that $1,000. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't have, your 15% or whatever it is, but your standard deduction should absorb that. Should. I don't know all the details, though. Yep, I do play video games, although I have not really been able to play a whole lot. So yeah, Frank, I watched the highlights where they didn't have the audience on Raw and SmackDown. It was really interesting to see that and how they, the acting was still pretty good, but obviously the matches are, which is why they didn't do so many of them. Yeah, in Nevada you're good. Here you can get some alcohol, but yeah, it was a little silly. PS4. Yeah, my that's just it. Like if I game, it has to be in the middle of the night, and I have to wait for my kids to go to bed and wrestle it away from them. And then I can't be too loud because they sleep right above where the gaming system is. So yeah, that's interesting. But she plays Minecraft and Fortnite all the time now. I didn't see the UFC one. I have to go look at that. It's funny that you say that comment because Alex commented on that on Discord. So if you want to join the Discord server, make sure you do that. He was saying, I can't wait to buy a new gun with that $1,000 that the government's going to give me. It's perfect irony. Oh, did they? That sucks. It's no good when the fights aren't good. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe too, folks, while you're there. Oh, I did see that Andrew Yang was in contact with the White House about this $1,000 thing. Because he's going to try and take credit as if it's somehow a UBI. It's not a UBI, but go figure. Obviously, universal basic income is a terrible idea for anybody who knows basic arithmetic. But if you've got a situation where businesses are closing down and people have no income, but they still have bills, in order to keep the economy and businesses and even some banks from defaulting, this is seen as one of those stopgaps. But part of the reason that that's required is because there's been this, in my opinion, pretty drastic overreaction. And I say that as somebody in isolation. AR-14s for everybody. There you go. Good luck finding them. They haven't been around in a long time. Thank you, Alex, for the 1-hour Discord invite. If you haven't joined my Discord yet, join it. It's a great place. And, we got some really cool channels, some good discussions, and things are broken up pretty good. Casey, do I have a non-compete clause with my own show? There is a non-compete clause if I leave Federated Media and I can't do anything within a certain mile radius of Mishawaka. But other than that, and I'm not even sure if that's still active, to be perfectly honest with you. Other than that, no. I mean, I can do any live streaming or podcasting that I want. They actually encourage it. We have a podcasting platform at Federated Media. I just don't host my podcast on it because they tried a couple of iterations of it and it kept folding and they were retweaking it and stuff. In the meantime, you lost episodes. So I've just self-hosted my podcast. So that's what I continue to do. And I'm going to be getting them my RSS feed and changing things around so they can also include my podcast into the FedMed system. But they actually encourage us to do extra shows. So I covered swine flu. Swine flu was very panicky, and especially early on. A lot of people were really freaked out. Here's the difference with swine flu. I was getting a lot of crap from media in Las Vegas when I was covering it because I kept telling people it wasn't that bad. All right. Now, everybody was globally, they were panicked about it. There were school closures, there were supply shortages. All of those things happened. Nobody remembers. I've actually been really frustrated with Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity over that because those things happened. I covered them. And when people are telling you that there wasn't a panic with swine flu, they're just not being honest. They're probably not remembering because it has been so long. But there was absolutely a panic. Here's where things were different, though. Once you started getting experts coming out and going, hey, this isn't even as bad as the seasonal flu. You all need to chill out. The media actually gave airtime to those experts. The media then shifted from the fear to trying to calm people down. The media supported the Obama administration's efforts, including some terrible policy positions. And they supported the Obama administration to, again, calm fears and basically prevent widespread panic like we're seeing now. The media now is doing the exact opposite. They're not allowing people who say that this isn't the end of the world onto their programs. They are actively attacking the Trump administration, lying about them, covering some of those lies that I talked about earlier. Trump administration's getting people killed. They had a slow response. No, they didn't. They responded before anybody else did. That they denied World Health Organization test kits. No, they didn't. That never happened. That they got rid of the pandemic task force in the White House. No, they didn't. That never happened. So when you have those lies by the press that are constantly pushed, now you've got people thinking, holy crap, we're all going to die because the people in charge of handling this are actually getting people killed. So what is different is that the panic now was created by the media, whereas the panic that we had with swine flu was kind of quelled by the media. That's been the big difference that we have had. And eventually, at the end of all of it, I ended up being right. And of course, I never got apologies from some of the press that were attacking me for telling you that swine flu wasn't as bad as seasonal flu, but I digress. I wouldn't be surprised if auto manufacturers are going to shut down. It actually doesn't make any sense for them to pump out cars right now, to be perfectly honest with you. Nobody's going to be buying them. And that's the main reason that I'm in isolation, Tracy, is the 2-week thing. Right now, my symptoms are there's a couple of overlapping with COVID-19, but my symptoms otherwise would indicate that it's not COVID-19, okay? But we're doing the 2-week thing just in case they change, and since everybody's body reacts to it differently. So that's where the 2-week isolation is for me. Ooh, that is price gouging, Angry. That is price gouging. This is why you buy your own stuff and you reload. It's funny, Alex, I considered cussing. It just hasn't happened. I did consider it. Let's see. Love the M1. Who doesn't love the M1? Car 98s aren't bad either. And here's the thing, they can all be modified into modern rifles. So VA canceled your appointment. Yeah, not surprised. Well, and this is it too, Tracy. When you're talking about Trump overreacting, the media also can't get their story straight. Either he's not reacting enough or he's still overreacting. So if you're going to quarantine the country and prevent people from coming here who are going to, make you sick, you have all of the medical experts saying that was the right thing to do and we should continue doing it. And you have the media going, Trump's not listening to the medical experts, but the medical experts are agreeing with the president, not with the press. You again create that fear. And if you're going to continue to have this messaging that is conflicting with your own people, the media I'm talking about, where they say Trump is not reacting, he's not doing enough, and then on the other hand, telling everybody that he's doing too much. Like, it was hysterical because after Biden gave his speech on COVID-19, he ripped off Trump's two previous speeches on it. The only thing that Biden changed was that he wouldn't do any travel bans, which the experts had already said were critical in buying us time in preventing the spread of the virus in the U.S. So all Biden said is, I would do everything that Trump has already promised to do or is already doing, except I would increase the risk of the American population by allowing people from China and Europe to come here, which was silly. And then people were praising him. And when I pointed out on social media that he just copied the president, a bunch of people had no idea because they'd never seen the president's speeches on it. So they were buying into the lie that the president wasn't doing anything. You don't need to find religion yet. That's up to you, man. Totally up to you. Yeah, we've heard that it's possible that you can catch it again too. So coronavirus tests are available. Good question from Al. The main reason that I haven't got the test is because I'm not showing all of the symptoms of it. And they want to limit the test to people who are showing the symptoms. So I'm basically in the self-isolation phase. If I start showing the real symptoms of COVID-19, where my doctor thinks it's reasonable to assume that I may have it, then the test will be ordered. And then if I test positive, I then officially go into quarantine. So right now it's just self-isolation. And then as symptoms develop, if they do, and we don't think that they will, then we'll start moving in that direction. But right now they need the test for people who are symptomatic. So they are asking us not to do those tests right now. And I assume once they become fully available for everybody, they'll just have people start getting the test. The problem is that if you don't have the symptoms and you do the test, you're just wasting the test because you can still get it. Yeah, travel ban absolutely made sense. And Fauci, who opposed the travel ban initially, has said that that was a great idea. He originally disagreed with it, but it was a great idea and it bought the U.S. some time, especially since they screwed up with the love me some 3-round burst. I'll take 3-round burst over full auto any day. Comet disagrees. I love 3-round burst. And the press does need to go on a 30-day quarantine. Absolutely. I haven't seen a lot of discussions about homeless, and that's a great question. It's one that we've had initially, especially in LA. Yeah, so from what I understand, the test kind of sucks. You basically get deep-throated by a cotton swab. So, so it doesn't sound great. They've got to get all the way in the back of your throat. So they basically take this thing, they have to jam it in the back of your throat, which obviously causes you to gag and cough, and they've got to get all your phlegm from back there. It's apparently not pleasant. Your doc thinks that you do have it, Priestess? Yeah, if I were going to feed one, it would be a 249. It wouldn't be a 60. 50 Shades of COVID. Up your nose and then down your throat? God, that's even worse. Not looking forward to that. So the COVID-19 symptoms are fever, which I don't have, dry cough, trouble breathing, Those are the three big ones. So if you've got those three, there's a good chance that you have it. I had a sore throat the initial day, which is pretty much gone. I got a scratchy throat now. My cough is wet. It's not dry. I have no fever. I have no difficulty breathing, no congestion or any of that. So really the only overlapping symptoms that we have is a little bit of cough and then the sore throat. Everything else, it seems to steer towards I've just got a normal viral infection in my upper respiratory. So at that point in time, once it shifts over, once I get a temperature, I think that's when we're going to start looking at it a little bit differently. But right now, I cough up mucus, and it's not a dry cough, no fever, no breathing problems, none of that. What's up, Anita? How you doing? Now, again, if you're here and you haven't hit the like button or subscribed to the channels yet, please do so. Whatever platform you're watching on. I know most of you are on YouTube, so please hit the like button on YouTube and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'll be ending this here in 2 minutes at 3 o'clock. Yeah, they should stop taking pay. Isn't it interesting that all those members of Congress who don't want travel bans have shut off the Capitol building to the public and also closed their offices? They don't want the country to do that, but they want to do that because they don't want to get sick. From what I understand, Joe's doing good. There were a bunch of people who really freaked out at my work for a couple of days because I wasn't there. And that became an issue. This is my stream, Anita. I am getting off here in just a second so you guys can go listen to Matt fill in for me on MNC. This is it. So every day, I'm hoping right around 2 o'clock we'll do the quarantine corner, and I'll do a little show. Today was just more of a question and answer. I did a couple of things for you, but I'll do probably like a 20 to 30 minute show. Okay. Absolutely. Well, I understand, but I can't broadcast yet. And for, again, new people that came in a little bit later today, I'm hoping to know today or tomorrow if they're going to get me the software to broadcast from home. If that happens, I will do the radio show. We don't know 100% if that's going to happen, okay? Thank you, teacher, man. Appreciate it. But I'm good. Family's good. Everybody's fine. They don't think I have it. They're just being cautious. Well, Rush has a compromised immune system. I mean, he's going to have to isolate. That just, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Anything can hurt him now, especially something like this. Yeah, it's the basement. I'll see if I can get the green screen to work maybe in the next day or two. You never know. All right, it's 3 o'clock. I want you all to go turn on 95.3 MNC, or you can listen online at 953mnc.com or the MNC app, or... well, yeah, I guess that's it because there's no live stream with Matt. I don't know if he's live streaming somewhere. He probably is, but I don't know. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I'm going to go and end the stream there. And you all have a wonderful day. Be safe. I'll see you tomorrow right around 2 o'clock, okay? And again, spread the word about Casey's Quarantine Corner. All right. Appreciate the subs and, all of the people who were able to go ahead and support the stream today. I really do appreciate that. You all have a wonderful day. And